Hey,
Hey, there he is.
you good?
Yeah,
You got me?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I got you now. I got you now. I got you now. He was
Sweet.
frozen for a little bit, you know. It's those handsome looks crashing the page.
Must be this moustache.
Nah, it's great to have you on, man. I think a lot of people don't know that we go a long way back from
Yeah, we
childhood,
do.
from club, county days. So yeah, no, it's good to finally get you in the mix. And I know you've
Yeah,
been
yeah,
threatening
yeah.
to come do some stuff with Ace for a long time. So I was glad you reached out, man.
Yeah, well, obviously, we do go a long way back, and obviously, it's great to see you take on what I started all those years ago because I was the first community officer in 2010. I was the community ambassador when I first joined Surrey. So, it's obviously brilliant to see you doing amazing things. So I thought I'd try and give a little insight to to what I've been up to.
Yeah, no, I'm proud, proud of you and everything you've achieved, and like I said, everything you've done in cricket, and even more so now, you've been smashing the BBL, and you're in the final. So how's it going over there?
Yeah, it's good, man. It's obviously amazing to be in the final. We It's been a long time. Like we've been out here. I've been out here nearly 3 months now. Um, so it's a long tournament and a lot of challenges, obviously at the minute with the COVID stuff. Um, but it's obviously an amazing tournament to be a part of. One that I really wanted to be a part of for a long time. We always used to watch it. When you wake up, there's always games on, stuff like that. There's like packed crowds and stuff like that. So it was always right up there for me to try and play in it one day. So yeah, it's obviously brilliant to get the opportunity to play for the Scorchers.
Nah, and I think you've joined one of the best teams. They've always had a good reputation in the BBL, and you're just running with it. I seen he's been smashing it, mate. A lot of sixes out there, a
Yeah,
few trademark. I'm not gonna say slugs, but a few trademark pulls and flicks, cover
yeah,
drives, the drives. Yeah,
yeah. Just I suppose the key in life is not necessarily you don't have to be the best. You just have to play for the best. Um, Obviously, yeah, really, really lucky that I joined quite a good team. Because like even in the last game, like I didn't even do anything. Like I just hobbled around with my broken toe in the field, which was perfect. But yeah, no, it's been amazing. Personally, obviously, when you're an overseas player, you feel like you need to contribute. Every so often, you need to win games of cricket and try and help where you can. So I've managed to do that a couple of games, and like you say, slog a few. Always good. Always good to slog a few. Someone
nah,
said
it's good. Well,
someone said to me, "Oh, what do you need for T20 cricket? Like good bats and like good." I was like, "Nah, you just need good edges. That's all you need."
no, and as you said, you're one of the foreign boys, your players. Obviously, you're winning the rival territory. How's it been the reception of being one of the England lads over there with everything that went on with the Ashes and the stuff? Did you get a lot of banter?
Yeah, no, it's been pretty non-stop to be honest. Since the Ashes finished. Yeah, like I played golf against Glenn Maxwell and Aaron Finch the other day, and me and Alex Hales lost. We lost to them as well. So they were like giving it to us all day. They were just like, you Poms aren't going to take anything home. So yeah, no, it's been pretty non-stop. But people here have been so nice. Like the Scorchers boys have been real friendly. They've looked after me really well because they know that I'm obviously missing my family, missing my friends. So yeah, it's like obviously amazing to have such a great group of people here.
Yeah, of course. Like you mentioned, 3 months away. How have you been handling that? Has it been like bubble life and stuck in a hotel room? You've been missing, you've been away from
Yeah.
your wife and your children. So like, how's that been?
Oh mate, it's I saw Paul Collingwood come out the other day, and a few people have come up and spoken out about the COVID bubbles and stuff and how they can't continue, and they're 100% bang on. Like they really can't continue because I think the life, and the fun is just being sucked out of the sport at the minute. As great it is, and as lucky as we are to still be playing, I get all that. You know, the players, and we saw in the Ashes like how mentally burnt the guys were just from going from the World Cup to straight into Australia. It's, you know, and it's not just the players, it's the coaches. You know, you know yourself. You need, you know, sometimes as players, you need your coaching staff to really, you know, fizz you up and give you some energy. And it's the same for them. You know, they're away and miss it. So it's just taking the fun out of it and taking the life out of it. But hopefully, you know, we're near the end now, and you know, we can all move on and get back to where the game was and make it even better.
I was gonna say not long left until you raise the trophy, take the big one home, and then what's after that when you get back? Straight back at the Oval or a bit of time off?
Yeah, because obviously I don't know if you'd know, but I've broken my toe, so it's pretty painful. So I'll be having an injection, well, in about 10 hours' time, so to make it completely numb. And then once it's done, like flying home Saturday night, seeing the family, and then I think we're going to go on holiday to my favourite part of the world, which is the Caribbean. So
can't go wrong there, man.
Can't go wrong there. So yeah, and then back into the Oval. Obviously, you know, it's an exciting time. Obviously, we've got some new coaches join. You know, obviously, you know, Vic's left to go to the IPL, which is amazing for him, but and he'll be missed. But you know, we've got some exciting new coaches on board. So
you know, Jono's gone as well. You know, he's gone to be the coach at Middlesex. He's just going back and forth across the river. But you know, you've got Bats is a legend. So you've got Bats and you got Azar and Troughton as well. So hopefully you'll be all right, man.
Yeah, no, it would be good. At least there's no fee for going back over the bridge like so many times.
Yeah, exactly. And so obviously Caribbean, you mentioned that. I know you're a hero of the CPL, and not just a holiday destination. But how have you found? Because you played all over the world. How are you finding all the different competitions?
Yeah, the CPL was so much fun, you know, and it was just like pre-COVID, so like crowds were amazing. You know, we got to visit different islands because before I hadn't, you know, I'd been to a few islands, but we obviously went back to Barbados over and over just because it was somewhere we would go for pre-season and touring and stuff like that. So it was great to go and visit like places like St. Lucia and go and see the salt baths over there. And we went to, you know, Jumbie Bay in Jamaica. You know, it was just really cool, you know, to visit so many places that I haven't, you know, necessarily seen before. And like you say, I love Caribbean culture. I grew up in Southeast London, you know, and it felt like I was, you know, back there. Like the music, the food. It
was good energy, it's good vibes, man.
Great energy, great vibes, and a real like passion for the game. You know, like you can't really. There is like I know there's been some tough times, and obviously in the West Indies in terms of like the passion for the game has sort of gone to sort of the American sports, but it's still live and kicking, you know, during the CPL, so it's good.
Yeah, CPL atmosphere always looks fun, man. I definitely need to get over and watch a game.
Yeah, definitely.
The crowd's rocking, and it's just the music. It's just a good vibe, and it's just a good entertainment. And at the moment, they got a good series going on West Indies, England.
Yeah.
You been able to see any of that?
Yeah, I did. I caught up on the highlights yesterday night, which was, it looked like an amazing game. The wicket looks like it's getting better and better, even though you know, that's the first game looked like wicket didn't look great. But obviously two great teams. West Indies are so strong, and when you think they still haven't got, you know, Dre Russ and probably a few others to come back in, they're always tough to beat. So it's going to be a good series.
So of all the places you played, where could you, if you could give me top 3 places, grounds? What's your top 3 favorite grounds?
Well,
no particular order.
No particular order.
No particular order.
Straight off the bat, like obviously Kensington Oval. You know, we played at Barbados there in front of a packed crowd. That was obviously amazing. And a rogue one, actually, just purely because of what happened, was we played against A.B. de Villiers and Chris Gale in Bangladesh. And there was like 60,000 people there, and they were like both like geeing up the crowd. And we just lost the wicket, so I just walked out, and I literally couldn't hear the umpire couldn't hear anyone. It was so loud. So that was an amazing memory for me. And then over here, like I played the first game, we played at the Optus Stadium. And even though the crowd was like 20,000 and it's like capacity there's like 50,000, that's an amazing stadium. You know, in Australia, there are some incredible stadiums. It's just such a shame that, you know, there's been no crowd really to watch it.
Yeah, no, the dreaded COVID.
Yeah.
So now, who would you say, if you could give me your toughest seam bowler, toughest spinner? We'll stick with T20 format. We'll stick, because obviously there's all these different formats. We'll stick with T20.
Well, I remember going to Bangladesh first time. I faced my first game. I faced Sunil Narayan, and like the lights, it was like dark, and I couldn't really see the ball that well. And yeah, like he just made me look silly, really. Like, and obviously, when in those situations, like, you try and like give off the impression that you know what you're doing, and you know, and you'll see guys, you know, using their, you know, process or whatever it is to like, you know, give off the good body language and stuff like that. But like deep inside, I was just like, I haven't got a clue what's going on here. And so you know, that's obviously something you have to deal with when you're playing overseas and playing against guys you don't play against a lot. And then I also faced Malinga in the T10, and he was like, just, I think obviously a lot of people have spoken about Malinga, and something so different, you know, something that, you know, they all said like when the guy runs in, you have to look at the umpire's like chest, you know, so like, because so as the bowler's running in, I look at their face, and then I transfer over to like where the ball's coming out of. But for that, I had to like just look at the umpire. Like I was just staring at his chest, just waiting for that ball to be delivered from there. So that was pretty sick.
No, that is so. That the big stadiums, big type players you're playing against. How do you prepare for that? What goes into your preparation? Is there things that you do regardless who you're playing, or does it change depending on who you're playing against?
Yeah, sometimes like if there's something like that, like there's something completely different coming at me, I'll sort of try and do a bit of work maybe the day before or 2 days out to try and replicate that as much as possible. But generally, I think, and we were chatting about this with Mitch Marsh, funnily enough, you know, we were saying like, what is it that you do to like, you know, bring success consistently? And I think it is finding a process that you just go over the same over and over and over. It, you know, so nothing changes from the day of the game, the night before. You're doing the same things over and over, and then you build that consistency. And you know, like a big game today feels pretty normal. You know, like I'm not really, you know, I'm not really going to treat it any differently.
I was gonna say, you seem quite chilled and relaxed. I like that.
Yeah, no. Well, look, I mean, I suppose I've played. Lucky. I've played in a few finals before, and I really enjoy them. Like I always seem to do quite well in them. You know, I love it when the biggest crowd, you know, the most spotlight on the game. I absolutely love it. It seems to bring the best out of me. So I thrive under it. It's the reason why we're playing. You know, to win games like this. So yeah, I'm buzzing for it. Like, but I try and stay as relaxed as possible, like chilled. Keep
best way to be.
Keep
So with I was just gonna say, you know, we spoke about some of the challenges that you're going through at the moment, being away from home, you know, but what are some of the best bits about being a professional cricketer?
Oh, obviously I get to travel. You know, travel the world, meet new people, see new places, try new food, you know, try different cultures. You know, some of the best nights you have are sort of sometimes the most unexpected. So like, you know, I went to have food with Rashid Khan in Sydney, and he took me to like an Afghanistan restaurant, and like we had Afghan food. Like it was amazing. Like I've never had it before, but it's just awesome. Like such good food. So stuff like that. And I suppose like the one thing that cricket always gives you, and any level sport gives you, is that sort of competitive, you know, element. I won't miss, it's not the doing well that I would miss when I finish playing. It's like the competitive nature of bat against ball, tough situations and then coming through them, or like learning from them. It's all sort of that I find really fascinating, and I'll really miss. But yeah, it's obviously one of the best jobs in the world. Like, I'm very lucky to do it.
And talk about just learning. And you said you learn from different cultures whilst you're away. And what players have had a big influence on you learning whilst you've been in these different environments, when you've landed in Australia, and getting that local knowledge, or the Caribbean, or Bangladesh,
Yeah.
Sri Lanka,
Oh, well, my first tournament was actually the Afghan tournament in Dubai, and unfortunately there was a lot of sort of questionable like things going on in the background. Like, there was a lot of eyes on corruption and stuff like that. And Luke Ronke was in my team, and I was like just running around like so excited to be in franchise cricket. So excited. And he really helped me. Like, he was like, no, mate, just, chill there, and, don't go there and do that. And, keep an eye on this. So, one of the things was sometimes you don't necessarily get paid. You're relying on people, you're there to play cricket, and you're relying on people to pay you. So sometimes people don't see this, but, if you might, I know there's been times where players have got together and said, look, if you're not going to pay us, we're not going to go and play.
Yeah.
It's like stuff that you would never think happens, obviously, back home or in international cricket and stuff like that. But so he was great during that tournament. Carlos Brathwaite was our captain at St Kitts, and
remember the name and all that.
Yeah, remember the name. And there was some really interesting off-field stuff that was going on, with the management and stuff like that. And he was brilliant at sort of handling all that and helping all the players through it. And I suppose when you're captain of a side, you don't see, you might not realise just watching the game that the stuff that's going on off the field. So you might see someone do something silly, and you're like, why has he done that? And it's like, well, he's probably not quite all there. Like, he's probably got problems off the field, and his family are giving him grief or whatever it is. We all go through things
of course,
can affect us, and it's just sometimes that comes into cricket. So it's all about handling your mind. Like I said to you, handling your mind more than anything in cricket is the most important thing.
I suppose that's what separates some of the best, their mindset, and how they can, their concentration levels and everything else. And how do you prepare for your mindset of how to be, and try to black out things that are going on off the field that could affect you?
I go and see a couple of people I use mentally. So when I got released from Surrey the first time round, that really affected me, just as a human being, really, more than anything. I was like unwanted, and so I used someone then, and then more recently I've gone into like more for the performance side of it. Since the age of when I turned 30, I was just like, right, I want to try and do it a different way, and I sought help from a guy that has been brilliant with me, just really simplifying it down to how I want to play the game. And it's been obviously 4 years of amazing cricket since then, so I suppose it's really worked. But yeah, handling, for me, most importantly, like handling my mindset is the number one thing, and it's really just trying to be at peace with how I want to play the game and whether that's going to come off or not. I think if you can try and set yourself a blueprint for like, right, what does Laurie Evans as a cricketer, how do I want him to play? and then go and execute it, and then whether it comes off or not, just being accepting of that and being like, okay, I trust this process. This is the way I want to play. And if it doesn't work, do you know what? Like, at least I went down doing it the way I wanted to do it. So,
what is the Laurie Evans way?
Oh, well, like there was a time where, like, just silly things, like I wouldn't run down the wicket to spinners. Like, I was so fearful of getting out stumped. Like, so when I was younger, I just wouldn't want to give my wicket away. But, you know, and I got to a stage where I was like, look, I'm actually really good at it. Like, when I do it in practice, I'm actually good at it. And I'm a better cricketer when I'm trying to be as aggressive as possible. And, you know, and obviously I try and play cricket in a way that, you know, I have real high value on impacting games rather than amount of runs. So, you know, and that's all I try and do really, is just trying to impact games of cricket. So since I've been here, like I set myself a target. It was like, right, if I'm batting 5 or 6, like if I can contribute 5 times out of the tournament, in a big way, then I'll be happy with that. You know, and that might be a bit of a shock to people. You think, oh, he should be scoring runs every game. And it's like, well, no, that doesn't happen. You know, if in my position, like if I'm going to win us 4 games or 5 games, like I've done my job, because you got the rest of the guys to do the same. So I think that's where the Scorchers have done really well. Like you saw the team of the tournament, like we only had 2 guys in it, I think, but you know, when you look down the list, like everyone's contributed like a few times to winning games of cricket.
And you know what I respect about you as well. So I like the honesty there about, you know, wanting to be aggressive. And you know, I was surprised that you even said you're scared to run down the wicket, because growing up as kids and just following your career since then, you've always been an attacking, aggressive player, like just wanting to dominate. No matter who you played against, it was always, you know, I'm going to take it to them. So and especially in the last few years, how I see you attack these tournaments, home and abroad, I'm just like, yes, that's the Laurie I know. And you know, a few of our old friends was watching the game once, and you know, it was just like, that's Laurie, just smashing it left, right, and centre.
You know, you hear like golfers do it. They like, you know, they play golf as a kid, and they're like, they do it a certain way, and then they get into like professional golf, and then they become real, like, you know, they feel like they need to do things a certain way, and it's like, no, I can't do that. I don't want to do that because I might get it wrong. And then so you sort of become a bit like computerized in your thinking, and you lose that sort of feel and that sort of element that you're just gonna, you know, take it on. Like a kid wouldn't think about the consequence. And that's the sort of journey I felt like I've been on a little bit. You know, as a kid, like I say, when we played together, you know, I would, if I felt like I was just going to like try and hit the guy out the ground, like I would just do it. And sometimes it didn't come off, but I didn't care. Like, you're just a kid. And, you know, and if it didn't come off, you'd get like angry and like real emotional. And I suppose, yeah, I sort of tried to get back to being a bit more, you know, childlike because I suppose, you know, and it's, you hear about it a lot. That's where you're, you know, when you're most creative and you're most like at peace with, you know, doing things that, you know, entertain people and things that, you know, you'll remember. So yeah.
How much does the coaching team or everything around you, or even like the senior leadership or just the team environment impact that feeling? Because I guess if you're playing fearless cricket, you know, or you don't feel like, you know, you're playing it your way, but you might get out first ball trying to hit one, but first ball next time you go and you hit a 6. You know, how does that play on your mind, where you said before you felt restricted? And, you know, does the coaching and team environment play a part on that?
Yeah, no, it's obviously it has a huge effect, and especially nowadays, I think coaching's changed a little bit. You know, there's a lot more put on the young players nowadays, and you know, they're a lot more young people are coming into the game early because of T20 and stuff like that. So I remember Delray Rawlins, and I'm happy to pick him out because I remember one game we played, and he's a
good guy, by the way. He's been in the ace box in the ace office. Yeah. Good kid.
Legend. So like super talented. But you know, he plays the game. Sometimes you're like, what has he done there? Like, but you can't have it both ways. Like, so one game, I remember he ran down first ball and hit someone for 6, and everyone's like, that is amazing. Like, and it is amazing. Like, and then next game he tried to do the same thing and he got out, and it's like, and I remember like there was a coach sat there and he was like, well, what's he done there? And I remember Luke Wright picking him up on it, and he was like, mate, you can't have one without the other. Like, you know, and that's the sort of thing you've got to instill into players. You know, T20 is all about freedom, and, you know, if you want to do that, do it, you know, but, you know, okay, if it keeps happening and it doesn't come off, you know, okay, as a coach, okay, let's try and think about it a different way. Like, let's not take away that freedom element, but can you just, you know, improve that and, you know, and take it forward and try and learn from those, you know, those situations.
I think that's the best thing. At least players know where you stand, and as a coach, you believing in them. And, you know, like you said, if you're a coach that is happy that they hit first ball for 6, and the next time you bollock them and they get really angry at them, it's not going to help them for their own mindset. So no, that is a big thing.
You know what, Chev? I think like this coaching is almost, coaching at the minute, I would say, is harder than playing, because the game's moving so quickly, and you know, and how you deal with players is one of the hardest things to do. Like I you know, there's not many, you know, brilliant managers in, you know, out there, because it's a hard thing to do. Like, you know, and when you do come up against a guy or a coach who's a great manager, that, you know, they have serious success, and you know, because they're not, head coaches nowadays they're not cricket coaches. You know, they're not in there telling, you know, me like how to bat or you know, how to, you know, they're just there to facilitate and talk through things if needed to be talked to. So it's all about management. And, you know, I've been lucky here with Adam Voges, because obviously with family not here and stuff like that, it's been difficult for me. And Adam's been amazing at sort of just being there for me to chat through stuff.
I guess that must be even harder now as well, where there is that in the T20 world, you know, squads are put together through the drafts, and, you know, you're bringing all these different players from different countries, and you've got to try and get them to gel to win. Are there any things that you feel are the best common goal denominators for winning?
Alcohol.
I respect that.
In all seriousness, you know, the best teams I've played in, like this team would be right up there. Sussex would be right up there. Like, we got to the final, you know, that year. We just had so much fun together, like on the field, off the field. You're spending so much time together, you need to get on. And, you know, the whole New Zealand policy around like no dickhead policy, you know, like it rings true. You know, you can't have too many dickheads in your team, because, you know, generally if you've got, you know, a lot of teams now are so highly skilled, and it's not necessarily always the most skilled ones who go on and have success. You know, we've seen that in the Blast. You know, you've got some amazing teams in the Blast. Every year people go, nah, they're the favourites. And then, you know, one of the smaller counties turn up and win it. You know, Worcester I'm not calling Worcester a smaller county, but, you know, they've had huge success. You know, and probably down to the fact that, you know, they're a good bunch of lads. They're highly skilled, and they've got a great leader in Mo, you know, when he's there. So it's massively important.
It's funny you said not dickheads, because I remember there was when I started going up the coaching ladder, and I started doing some disability England work, and I was looking for some advice as you're going to do some of your courses and different workshops. And I said, oh, you know, what's your philosophy? What are you looking for? And he literally just said, Chev, I just pick a team with no dickheads. So it's funny that you just said the same thing as well. But, you know, let's get back to you and playing. Obviously, you've bounced around the order every now and then, depending on situations. But where's your preferred place to play?
Oh, mate, I honestly, like, as long as I just bat, like, I'm happy. you know, I want an opportunity to affect the game. So I love going in early. Like I love opening. You know, I got a chance to open in Sri Lanka. That was amazing. I don't do it much in England. I've had 3 in England generally. But in the 100, I've had sort of down the order, like at 6. Here, I've been sort of up and down, obviously, like you said. I think I started at 5, 6, and I think that's probably one of my best spots is 5. You know, you can come in and affect the game in the middle overs. Like I'm a good player of spin, obviously, and then I can hit over. I can clear the ropes at the end. So I would say, you know, that's been one of my best spots. But I was saying that, you know, 3's been pretty good to me as well. You know, I've enjoyed batting at number 3 because you get to get in early, and you know, you get to have the opportunity to score hundreds. So you know, which is pretty special.
And talking of the 100, how was that for you? They just released the new fixtures for next year. Well, this year?
Amazing. What a great tournament. You know, I don't know if everyone feels the same, but I know the players are absolutely buzzing over it. They love the format. You know, there's still parts that, you know, elements that can be improved. But I think, you know, the buzz that was around it, to get it off the ground, to get full crowds every game. You know, kids, I get the train into the Oval, and this guy, I'm sat there in my kit, obviously, like I'm traveling, you know, I'm
Stashed
in
up.
my polo.
Yeah.
I'm not just traveling on an off day in my kit. I'm actually coming home from a game, you have to get a tracksuit, right? So anyway, I'm sat there on the train, and this kid opposite me, he says, "Oh, do you play for the Oval?" And I said, "Yeah, we do." And I said, he said, "Mate, I've been coaching like a kids camp." And it's like, obviously, usually all the kids, all they can talk about is football.
Yeah.
And he said, "Do you know what? They're talking about the 100. They can't stop talking about the 100." And I said, "Well, that's right there." I was like, that's all the success you need to hit, like right there. That's everything you need to hear. You know, so that sort of tells you the impact that it's had. So, and hopefully it just gets bigger and better.
Yeah, for me, it was a great success because not just the parties in the office, but everyone knows that my association with cricket pretty much all my life. So, but I had friends and family that never once mentioned anything to me about cricket before, who were just like, "Oh, this 100, this is amazing. How can I come and watch?" Or, you know, how can I get my children to play? Like, Chef, how did they get into cricket? Can you get this for them? Can you get that? And that was all purely just off the buzz of the 100. Like, they've never once come to me before at any moment and said, like, showed any interest until the 100. So hopefully it will get a new audience and bring some new fans in and have a good time.
When you get big guns like Kano and Popcorn, I was so jealous. I was like, boy, these guys are sick. Oh no. Sorry,
like, I can hear you. You're back. No, you're back.
Yeah, I was.
Don't worry. Next season they'll be back again. We'll have hopefully a few more guests coming and gracing the box. But you know, that was the kind of the atmosphere. It just brought people together, and you know, Ebbs was working and Darren Sammy was working, and they'd finish and they'd come up, and you know, CJ would come up after a game, and Delray. Like it was just like good vibes. You know, we're right near the change room, seeing all you guys waving up, and we're definitely shouting to you, being like, "Go on, Laurie," you know what I mean? So the 100 is, you know, for me, it was a great success. Do you think it will catch on worldwide?
Yeah, I think it will. Like, you know, I think as good as T20 has been for the game, I think it probably needs a revamp. Like we've seen in the Big Bash, like the crowds are down. Obviously, COVID's had a big effect on that, but you know, I definitely think, you know, there's something there to be done to just give it a freshen up. You know, it's such a great tournament, but if it probably needs to find a way. Like humans always need to, you know, adapt stuff to keep it relevant. You know, and people have got used to probably this format, and they probably need to just freshen it up. So, you know, credit to the ECB for doing that.
All right, so you're head of the 100 for this season. What changes are you making?
What changes am I making? Well, I think...
And not your pay.
Sorry?
And not your pay.
Not my pay. I think... Do you know what? there's like little things that I love are like the women's game played just before us. Like that was a vibe. Like we would get to the ground, usually it's empty, and like there was just full crowd already. Like that was a buzz. So I'd make sure we keep that in. What would I change though? I don't know how. I think the draft system might go in a few years' time. Like I think we'll probably get to a point where, there'll be more of a, not like an auction, but more of a like a direct signing situation. Because I reckon, like I just think, I don't know what, I think they'll hopefully try and maybe get some, go sort of down the franchise route and have people independently owned and stuff like that. So we'll see. But I think it's pretty cool as it is. The 5 ball overs, both from the same end, 2 from one end, and then the extra man in the ring. That's a great rule. For being overtime and stuff like that. So loads of good.
How was the like? How did you adapt and change like your game to like? Obviously, the format's slightly different. Did you do anything any differently?
I suppose for me, like in my position, like I was training just to try and hit balls for 6 from like ball 1 if I could. Like that was basically, I did a lot of work just going in the net instead of like having a few like feelers, a few, balls where I just tap it down the ground or whatever. Like you were just setting up to try and smack it out of the park from ball 1 in practice. Like obviously there's times in even in 2020 games when you go out and you try and you hit the ball over the rope from ball 1, but it's more about bringing it into the practice. And that's been something I've worked on out here with Mitch Marsh actually. He's a guy who from ball 1 he hits the ball over the rope. So, and that's something that I want to get better at. So yeah, working with him on that.
Yeah, no, it's interesting because it's something that I tried to, that when I'm coaching, and I even tell my coaches to do, to try and let's train the players and practice the players what they're going to do in the game. And I kind of got that from Richard Bedbrook, and he was training Maddie Villas at the Oval, and I was watching this net, and she was just smashing, teeing off every ball, and I was like, this is a bit of a crazy net session. And he said, well, she goes in normally at 7, she normally faces, there's not many balls left, and she normally goes in at T20, so we wanted to try and hit every ball for 4 or 6. And then I saw her play like the first game with 100, and then she literally just did that and like won them the game, and I was like, proof's in the pudding. So it's good that you do that kind of stuff as well.
Yeah, it's just trying to make it as relevant to your role. Like I said, in T20, it's important to have clarity of roles, and then you can practice around that. And that's obviously brilliant coaching and brilliant from Maddie.
Yeah, definitely. I've got a question from one of our kids actually. I see it. It said, "Will you come to Ace and give us a masterclass?"
Absolutely. You tell me what you want to know, and I'll come and give a masterclass. Absolutely, I'd love to. Yeah.
No, we'll definitely get you involved when you're back after your holiday. You get a bit of stick about the tash, but I think that's just being in Australia for too long.
Yeah, I've got like a sort of like a mini mullet at the back as well. I've been in Australia for far too long.
Awful.
My wife, yeah, it's awful. But my wife said to me, just make sure that doesn't come back to England. So I'll probably shave it after the game.
Yeah, no, there you go. Someone asked about, are you going to be involved in the 4-day stuff at the Oval?
Oh, well, yeah, I'd love to. Obviously, we've got quite a strong team at the Oval. I'm guessing obviously Burnsy will be around at the start, and Popey will be around at the start. Obviously, we've got Hashim Amla, we've got James Smith. We've got all these guys. Young guns. So yeah, I'm love to play 4-day cricket for Surrey. Yeah.
What number would you bat? What's your preferred there? Obviously, you gave us some random places for the T20. What about 4-day?
To be honest, there's so many good players. I'd probably have to just fit in wherever there's a spot. If that's open,
take one.
Yeah. I'd just play the same way I play. I wouldn't, try and change the way I play. I just, try and react to the ball and smack it.
So most of my, I like that. Most of our kids that on our Ace program, they're 10 to 18. I'll pick a random age between that. Let's say 15-year-old Laurie. What advice would you give 50-year-old Laurie that from what you know now back then as players coming up trying to get into the pro game like you did?
Well, I was quite a latecomer anyway. Like I didn't start playing for Surrey until I was about 15, and then sort of had a quick rise of like into the academy. And I think in a way that sort of helped me a little bit. You know, I played rugby, I played tennis, played, you know, a few other sports.
And just so everyone knows, that was all to a high level as well.
Oh yeah, I grew up in a rugby household, so you know, rugby was a massive part of our upbringing. You know, and I had my heart on playing rugby, not necessarily cricket, but it was just like I dislocated my shoulder, and I just couldn't play rugby to the level I wanted to really. But
decent scrum half, if I remember right.
Yeah, something like that. But to be honest, like that was a blessing in disguise because I wasn't chucking all my eggs in one basket. You know, like I wasn't like, oh, I desperately want to play cricket. I just wanted to be a sportsman. You know, I just loved playing sport. And I was just, you know, I was just trying to find ways. Like I wasn't very good in sort of low key matches. And it's still true probably to this day. I'm a bit better now, but like I love when there's something on it.
Bit of pressure.
Yeah, big pressure games, lots of people watching. You know, so I would say 15-year-old me, I would say get better at being more consistent. Like I was obviously a bit emotional up and down, but then enjoy the ride more. Like, yeah, like don't put too much pressure on yourself. You know, and learn, like try and take in what people are saying to you. Because I learned too late a little bit, and it probably cost me. You know, I didn't really take in all the lessons I learned until too late. You know, into my 20s. So yeah,
you're doing all right though. You've been done all right.
Minded as possible. Yeah, I've done okay. Yeah, but I reckon if I'd been a bit more open to learning, you know, from a younger age, I probably would have, you know, and listen to people. You know, people have got interesting things to tell you. They've been through amazing journeys. So like, listen to them. Don't just jump in and think, you know, you know best.
Yeah. Someone had a question. They said, do you get nervous first ball when you go in first ball and when you're 99?
Oh, yeah. I suppose first ball, you're just trying not to get out. Like you're just trying not to embarrass yourself.
No one wants the first baller.
So, but yeah, I actually, you know, I do get nervous. Yeah, especially if I haven't played for a while. Like I found walking out first game here, like I was really nervous. I felt it as I got to the crease. Like, whereas you know now tonight I won't really feel too nervous. Like nerves are a good thing, like because obviously it shows that you care, and you take pride in what you do. So you know, I think it's so natural to feel nervous. It's just making sure that you know you enjoy them and handle them in the right way. Like it's something in life. Like it's a great thing to feel. Like it shows that you're, you know, putting yourself somewhere that's quite exciting.
Yeah.
So yeah, so I think it's enjoy. You know, you try and enjoy the nerves as much as you can. Like enjoy the buzz that you get. At 99, like yeah, I don't often get onto 99 nowadays. Playing T20, but when I do, it's a nice feeling. Like it's there to be enjoyed. Definitely, you just try and tuck it off your hip for one. Cheers.
Another question was, if you could change any rule in cricket, what would it be?
So I'd just try and speed the game up. Like, you know, I'd just try and find a way to get the game moving. So like at the minute, they brought in a rule here, which is like you've got 70 seconds to get to the middle.
Okay.
Yeah, so from when the wicket goes, you've got 70 seconds to get to the crease before you have to face. Yeah, so, but it's actually too long. Like the guys are out there in 40 seconds.
I was going to say, it doesn't take that long. It's like literally, especially in T20, everyone's on the boundary anyway.
Yeah. So, but the umpires are waiting each time. So it's like, you know, we're always like, come on, get on with it. And then we get fined. We get fined every time. So it doubles every time you're late. You get fined. I think it's like $500. So and it goes up. It doubles every time. So I'm like, come on, guys, like, let's go.
I've got a big question from Sam Curran, someone you may know. He said, talk us through your celebrations at the Big Bash.
Mate, Junior, I honestly, that was not, I don't know what happened. It was like I blacked out and I did a celebration and a dab. I was like, just so surprised that I hit the stumps, because I never ever run anyone out. I actually I went up to him after. I was like, mate, you don't know how unlucky you are. So, yeah, sorry, TC, Junior, I won't do that.
TC's given you joining with the Tash Brigade. There's not a lot of fans.
Mate, he loves a Tash. He loves a Tash. He had one out here.
No, a lot of love to the Currans. They recently came to our session in Bristol, one of our sessions in Bristol. So it's good to have them and Sibley as well. So good boys, man. Yeah,
great guys, great kids. They're listening. I'm not going to big them up. So they're listening. They don't need that.
So that now, obviously, you're I'd say a senior pro now. You know, so what are you doing in the, you know, how are you taking on that senior pro role?
Well, just handling people like Tom Curran and Sam Curran. Like I just, you know, when it gets fiery in the dressing room, I just like, guys, come on, let's, you know, chill out. You know, just settle everyone down. It's good fun because you got young kids like Jaxie and Jamie Smith as well that I really get on with. And you know, I just try and, you know, help them as much as I can. They're much better than I was at that age. So I just try and help them when I can. I was on the phone to Jaxie for like an hour because he's in Bangladesh, so he's never been there before.
Giving him the local advice.
Yeah, and I was just, you know, giving him a little heads up. He was asking me about a few things, and I was just like, yeah. So just try and help as much as I can, really. But we got a great group at Surrey. Like, it's great fun. Yeah.
You've mentioned a few of the young Surrey boys up and coming. Who's the next big one for you? Who's going to take the game by storm?
Oh, there's so many, but yeah, James Smith or Jax. Like, they're two. You know, Jaxie probably, like, obviously at the minute more in T20, but he showed obviously at the back end of last year how good he is at 4-day cricket as well. He could do anything he wants in this game. He's as good as anyone out there. And the same with James Smith. Probably James Smith's the opposite, like more 4-day than T20, but then he shows how good he is in T20. Like, he's so good. You know, they're both completely different. Like, Jaxie's, I call him the Oracle because he's sometimes outrageous comments, and an emotional person. Like, and he loves it when he gets out there. Jamie Smith is completely the other way, like chill, does not, like, he's like almost, but down he really cares. Oh, we lost. You got me. Yeah. So
yeah,
I know
you're back.
So yeah. So like, he cares a lot, James Smith, and he's highly skilled and a really good bloke to be around. So future Surrey captain for sure.
Well, he had a few stints. I think last game of the season he had to go in the 4-day stuff. So hopefully that will be the future. Another young gunner, Gus Atkinson. There, he said, "Do you sleep in your Scorcher's top?"
He's that online to listen to me. No, mate. I just thought, you know. You there? You got me?
Yeah. I got you.
I'd represent, you know.
Just about, I think.
What's going on?
It's all happening. The connection is all happening. But yeah, so you don't sleep in the Scorcher's top.
No, mate. No. Don't sleep in the Scorcher's top. I'm just repping the night kit, innit? It's nice, isn't it?
What's the most regal kit you've had?
Oh, Bangladesh, mate. We had like gold helmets, gold pads. Yeah, like gold down the side of our trousers. Yeah, naughty kit in Bangladesh, but good, lovely. Yeah, yeah. It's definitely, so yeah, it's good. Sorry, mate. Australia, isn't it?
Yeah, I don't know. Wi-Fi's upside down and all sorts over there.
Yeah.
It's either Australia or I'm actually at the Oval, so it's either the dodgy Wi-Fi at the Ovals, but I'm going Australia.
Yeah. Well, who could, we're on the opposite side of the world. We're just not going to do this.
No, I'm so happy we're doing this. This is amazing. Random question I see there from Scott. Scott's had a few good questions, to be fair. He said, "How do you like your steak?"
Medium rare, with a lovely glass of red wine.
He's actually on the money with that one.
Yeah, medium rare, probably reverse seared with a glass of red and some nice, garlicky buttered greens. Oh yeah, might order that tonight actually.
It's a winner's meal. That's a winner's meal.
Yeah, we'll see. Well, there won't be any meals after if we win. It will be
Well, a lot of beers. Someone's asked, "What's your pre-game prep? What does that look like?"
My pre-game prep is probably going to have an hour's nap around 3 o'clock, and then wake up, have a double espresso with oat milk, and then head to the game, have a bit of food, chill out, put some tunes on, and then walk out there and just have a few underarms, hit some balls, have a look at the wicket, have a chat, probably give it the big ones in my bucket hat, and then
I love that.
And then start the game.
What's
plus an injection into my toe.
Well, yeah. We got. There's been a few concerns. You got a few fans who are concerned about your toe. So those that work on, he's got a big injection coming up to numb it.
Yeah, it's weirdest feeling running around with no feeling in your foot. So I did it last game, but it wore off in like an hour. So we're going for double injection this time.
Wow. What was I going to say? I was going to say something, but I've just seen something else pop up. He said, "What's the dress code like in the Surrey dressing room?"
Flair. As flair as you want. No, it's good. It's like like when you see like in the NBA and there's like LeBron James,
the slow-mos,
flare kit, like it's like that. Which I might put a request into Stewie if we can just rock up in just flare kit and not tracksuit.
I was gonna say that's what I was gonna say. You said about the tunes. What's on the playlist?
Well, out here, like they're big into. They're not like that big into like my music, which would be like rap and grime. They're big into like sort of like Aussie house. It's just like sort of beachy vibe house,
soulful house vibes.
Yeah, soulful house. So there's a lot of that going on. But mate, when I was in the CPL, I thought I took over the music and I just played like sort of quite like what you would say like quite pop rap and stuff like that. And Dave is massive for me at the minute, like his new album. And all the boys in CPL, they were like, nah, they weren't having it because they were like, nah, we need proper, Caribbean music. So
yeah. They wanted some soca and reggae and some bashment.
exactly. But I made a playlist called the CPL playlist, obviously.
Okay. Yeah. As you do.
On Spotify. So if anyone wants to check out my Spotify, it's on there. It's full of Bachman, full of soccer music. Yeah, it's good.
Being a little bit more back to talking a bit more serious. Someone's asked, who's your biggest inspiration?
My dad. Probably, yeah. No, he's always like my family have always been there for me, through ups and downs. More downs than ups, but my dad's always been there. Like he used to take me out in the garden you know, rugby generally, but like he'd always practice with me and stuff like that. So yeah, dad.
Someone's asked in T20, strike rate or average. You can only choose one.
Strike rate all day long. I'm trying to get mine up. I want to try and finish with a higher career average. I mean, it's a bit lower because of where I used to bat back in the day, but over the last 3 years, I think my strike rate's been up, you know, towards like 140, 150. So that's where I try and strike 150 ideally.
I like that. Someone's asked you a question about how you connect with teams, and I think they weren't here earlier. So Laurie said alcohol.
Yeah,
it helps. But they've also asked, what's your favorite reggae song?
Well, so when I was in the Caribbean, like this song kept playing, right? And like the DJs, obviously, like there's a million songs being played because they only play them for like a real small amount of time. And I kept asking the guys, I was like, "What is this tune? What is this tune?" And it was a local guy, but he made a song like, so obviously they used the same tune throughout the islands.
Yeah.
But then they put like different lyrics onto it.
Okay.
So like I was like trying to work out what this tune was. Anyway, it was by a guy called Marcus White, I think, and he was from St Kitts. And I can't remember the name of the song now, but yeah, he was that was pretty sick. So or anything, it used to be anything by Jar Cure, like something like that.
Yeah, I like that. I like that. One of our scholars, Maya, she asked the best bowler you faced.
Sunil Narayan. Yeah, easy.
I like that. In terms of practice, it's just guessing. Just get to it and hit. Someone's asked preference, bowling machine or sidearm or bowlers for practice.
Throwdowns, none of them. I think there's. I try and mix between all of them, but they've all got, you know, good bits and bad bits. I think the sidearm is good for like getting pace, you know, like. But the trade-off of that is because of the steep bounce. Sometimes you don't get into the ball. So for me, like my big thing over the last few years is that I'll use the bowling machine to like get my volume up. You know, if I want to smack balls or like drill something, like I'll use the bowling machine. Yeah. But then I'll counter that with doing some throwdowns, and I'll do like a drill where I won't move my feet. So like I'll just use my hands, and I'll get someone to throw, because it's more sort of, you know, it's more like someone bowling, you know, in terms of the height. Like you don't get the bounce that you do off the dog stick. So yeah, so there's, you know, and then obviously like the Merlin machine is great to use for spinners. So yeah, but generally I'll use throwdowns more than anything nowadays.
No, that's good, because you see a lot of coaches now, everyone wants to be flashy with the dog stick. So, you know, but I see it's hard to get a bit of control. I see some coaches is spraying it left, right, and centre.
Well, mate, to be honest, like the dog stick, and I worked with a guy called Trent Woodhill a few years ago who was with the RCB team at the time, and he hated the dog stick because he felt like coaches got too competitive with it. Like it was all about them, you know. Like, and you have to remember, like it's about the player. Like sometimes, obviously, you want to make the session tough and test out guys, you know, and I do that a lot. I'll get coaches to come around the wicket and bowl at my head and stuff like that, make sure my short ball stuff's good. But, you know, before a game like today, I'll literally just have some throwdowns. Like I won't even put my pads on. Like I'll just have a few underarms, a few throwdowns.
Just feel nice in the groove.
Yeah, exactly. Like it's more just about warming up, to be honest, than checking things that are, you know, checking I'm hitting the ball very well. You know, it's too late to try and change anything now.
Yeah, definitely. Someone's asked, how do you calm the mind before a big game?
I try and basically just remind, you know, try and tell myself how, you know, everything's going to be okay. You know, and it sounds dramatic, but it's like, no, everything's going to be okay. Like you're playing a game of cricket. Like it's not, you know, it's not the end of the world if it goes badly. and I try and enjoy it. I'm like, well, how good's this? Like, I'm playing in the final of the Big Bash, like at the Marvel Stadium. Can't get any better.
No, you can't. You can't. Someone's asked your fondest moment at the ODs, ODS.
ODs. Oh yeah, that's where I started playing cricket. So
Okay.
Old Dunstonians in Beckenham.
Yep.
I had it was my dad played rugby there, but I used to play cricket there in the summer.
Yep.
And he was my first cricket coach, a guy called Andrew Mew, and he lives down in Somerset now. But he was my first cricket coach when I was about 12 years old. So yeah, we had many good memories at the ODs. I don't know who asked that, but
P Jeffries. So it must be
oh,
you must know you. Yeah. It has to be someone, maybe
good
blast from the past.
Good memories.
Nah, it's good, man. No, listen, mate. It's been an hour. I've taken an hour of your time, and I thought I thought if I could keep going, but I know you've got
Mate,
you've got a big game to prepare for. Yeah, you've got a big game to prepare for and just relax. And I can't thank you enough for coming on and just chatting, man. And I'm looking forward to when you come back, and we'll do it again, and you hopefully get to see some of the kids playing and stuff like that. And it'd be great to have your training and stuff.
Get the kids. I want to see whatever masterclass needs doing. I'll try and lend a hand. 100%.
Yeah. No, it'd be good, obviously, to hear you. Your batting, obviously, batting is your strength. I know you used to bowl a little bit back in the day, but batting is what we'll be looking for. Power hitting, you're good at hitting sixes.
Now. I'm a keeper now.
I've seen. Okay, before we go, we might as well stay. Let's talk about the keeping. How's the keeping going? How do you fall into that?
Right. I don't know why people keep. I've been saying to Stewie for a while now, like, I'm a keeper. Like, I've been working on it.
Surrey's got enough keepers.
Yeah, they've got so many keepers, but he won't give me a go. But I kept in a second team game last year in one of the 4-day games, which is good. Yeah, I really enjoyed it. Good fun. And then just got the opportunity due to COVID, like everyone else, getting off. Yeah, we had no keepers, and I said, "Oh well, I kept last year. I'll do it if you want," and done. And then I was just lucky. I was just happy that I caught that ball. That when he ran down, I caught it and took the bells off.
Whose gears did you borrow?
Well, I actually got sent some from my sponsor, Missouri.
Oh, nice.
I used Cameron Bancroft's that first time because it was literally like the morning.
I was going to say there would have been no time. Yeah.
Literally the morning of the game, I was told. So yeah, but what can I say? Just casual stumping.
Power hitting and stompings, mate. It's been great having you, and good luck tonight. Good luck to the Scorchers. I'll be checking in, and look forward to you winning.
Yeah, cheers, mate.
Thank you, Matt.
Legend, Chev.
All the best, bro.
And you.
Bye.